All right, everyone. Welcome back to the No Business Soccer Podcast, where we got no business talking about soccer, but guess what? We're doing it anyways. I'm your host, Snooze. I'm here with my boy, Danny P, in the back. And we also have, of course, our boy, Hype Man Vic. Hype Man, how you doing?
Doing good, doing good. We are going to be sipping on Still Austin's straight rye whiskey, ruby red port barrel finish. I'll tell you why, because I know
Please
you're all
do.
asking. This is not my bottle. My friend Jesse left it here. So technically, I've done absolutely nothing to deserve this glass. Just like a few of these teams we're going to be talking about did absolutely nothing to deserve to be in the next round. So let's get it started.
Dang, that is professional. Listen to this, man. Drinking the good stuff.
I'm still
talking the good stuff.
If you can't tell.
We have a lot to talk about. We're going to be diving into the round of 16, reviewing the round of 16, and also previewing the quarterfinals. We're getting to the tail end of the tournament, the business end, if you will. And even though it's awesome to see all these games happening, you know, it is kind of sad because it's been a great summer of soccer. We have a lot going on right now, but we're going to have to jump into it, unfortunately, because all things come to an end. But before that, we have Switzerland versus Italy to review. And they threw down, and as you probably could have expected, Italy stayed exactly how they looked in the group stage. And they came out with a rotated side. I don't understand how you do that. How does the coach decide for this round of 16 tie, he's going to go ahead and start three players? We have Mancini, El Shaarawy, and Fagioli, who they hadn't started a single match of this tournament, and yet the round of 16 is a time to experiment. Vic, explain for your friend why that is a thing.
I haven't had enough FaceTime with him to ask him so far, but he does have a lot of explaining to do. So I've definitely asked him. Christian, on the off chance you're listening again, a lot of people hear that name a lot. We'll talk soon.
We need to figure it out. It was very weird to see that, but Switzerland do end up winning this 2-0. And the standout performer for Italy, before we get into Switzerland, the good stuff, it was Donnarumma. He's been amazing this whole tournament, and yes, he did give up the 2 goals, but if you watch the highlights, both of them were awesome goals, and they had to be because they weren't beating them with any other shots other than something that was going to hit that top corner, something that was going to be amazing, and they just happened to do that. It was Switzerland's night for sure. And the last thing I'll say about Italy before we move on to them, Scamacca, who he was the main man for Atlanta all season long, and Atalanta doing the Lord's work there and getting the goals and just kind of making everything messy and getting goals in, being that center forward presence in the box. He just never did that in this tournament. And everybody was kind of clamoring for him to make this Italian side. And he didn't really show a reason why he should continue to be there. And I think that's probably a big reason why they ended up bowing out this early in the tournament. But let's talk about Switzerland because they're the main team that we're going to see going forward, but then also the main team that nobody thought would be here. I know if you go watch that group review, I certainly didn't have them getting this far. I thought they were going to get fourth in their group, but they were dominant. It wasn't even particularly close. Besides, like if Donnarumma wasn't there, if he was just a regular keeper, I think Switzerland could have had 4. I mean, it was that bad. And I was very, very wrong about this side. And they play England next, so I'm looking forward to seeing, not that England are much better or have been playing much better than Italy, but we'll get into that in a second.
Makes me want to take a sip because of that.
Yeah. All of our English, I would say friends, but they don't know us. But yeah, all of our English brethren, I feel bad for them right now. And before we say ciao to Italia, I would like to say, I've said this a couple of times now, I am an all-time, I love watching all-time kit matches, right? Like you look at the field, you look at the TV, and you just see these perfect blends, these colors clashing. This one, even though Italy sucked, it was an all-time kit matchup. That red versus that blue. Oh, the pitch was perfect. It was awesome to watch. I know I'm probably a nerd. Not many people care about that, but I'm going to call it out every time I see it. So
yeah, if you were watching for the kits, I was watching because I was like, oh yeah, almost done. Adam owes me lunch. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he owes me lunch now. You thought
Yes.
Italy was going to win. I bet Switzerland for lunch. So I don't know where we're going to go. Let's see. There's a couple of
Some
Brazilian
Italian.
steakhouses around.
Oh God. Okay.
I
All
don't
right.
know. Maybe just
Fair
some Mr.
enough.
Gaddies. Let's throw it old school. Who knows? We'll see.
CC's like we used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
This I didn't see this coming. I said that I thought Italy would kind of be defensive, hit them on the counter, or at least soak up all the pressure and be able to be strong enough defensively to get by with a 1-0. Didn't happen. And I'm glad we don't have to talk about them anymore. There is a team that's very similar to them that we'll be talking about in a little bit. But for now, we say bye. We say ciao to Italia. And we're moving on. Arrivederci. There you go.
Arrivederci.
We're moving on, though, to the next game in the round of 16. That was Germany versus Denmark, which was another 2-0 win. And this time, Germany, I want to say they dominated this game. You don't really see it show up in the stats. Shots on target 11 to 15, possession 55% to Denmark's 45%. So it's not like they dominated in that sense. But when you watch the game play out, it never felt like Germany were going to lose this game. Other than we'll get into in a second, but they came out firing in the first 10 minutes. It felt like they were going to be able to get at least 4 goals, but it just never happened for them. And then the terrible, unfortunate circumstances for Anderson. He just in a span of a couple minutes, he was his toenail short from being onside for a goal, and then that gets disallowed because again he didn't cut his toenails before the match. On the other side of the pitch, he didn't cut his fingernails, and he gets a penalty called against him for. I mean, it was like the slightest of touches, like just barely that fingernail. And he gets a penalty called against him. Kai Havertz buries it. It's 1-0 whenever it felt like it should be 1-0 the other way. And I don't know about you, Vic, but it really felt like at that point, Denmark's spirits were broken.
Oh, yeah. It was absolutely terrible. I was texting you guys. I was like, man, just the huge swing of momentum from one end to the other. And it was just a blink of an eye. And I was like, God, they're disheartened. I don't know if they're going to come back. And they never did. So. But
never recovered. Yeah, it always sucks whenever you see that happen because for up to that point, like I was saying, it felt like Germany weren't really going to lose that game, but it didn't feel like they were really dominating, and you can see it in the stats, but you can tell the momentum shifted once that had happened, and then they were off and running. Musiala gets that. He scores his third goal of the tournament, Germany's second in this match, and by the way, he's tied for the Golden Boot with our boy, Georgi Mikatadze, but unfortunately, we'll talk about him in a little bit. They're not going to get any more goals in this tournament, unfortunately. But either way, Jamal Musiala, the Wonder Kid, he's we need to talk about that. Wonder Kid. I think we just need to make it acceptable to say Wonder Kid because that's just how it is. I feel like have y'all seen? Oh, what's the show? Believe the show, the American dude who's the coach, Ted Lasso.
Oh,
where like they're making fun of him for saying his like assistant for saying Wonder Kid, but that's messed up. It's just so easy to say. So, anyways, the Wonder Kid, Musiala, he gets that goal. He's tied for the Golden Boot, and it was off and running. And really, there's not much else to say about Denmark. It's a fitting end for a team that was in Group C and got out of it because the rest of their games were pretty boring. And for that, we say hi to Denmark. Hi, hush, hi. We'll see. We'll figure it out one day.
It all sounds good.
But from this point on, Germany, they continue to look like the hostess with the mostest. They look dangerous. They don't look like they're going to be knocked out anytime soon. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit as well. The next match. Well, before we move on, anything else you want to bring up on that, Vic?
No. I'm excited. We'll talk about their next match. Excited to see them again. And they were never really in trouble for this match.
They might be in trouble in the next one, but we'll take a look here in a second. Okay, we're going to keep this train rolling. We have England and Slovakia, and this ends 2-1 for England. But man, oh man, this one was a doozy. It was 1-0 for Slovakia up until the 90+5. It felt like it was much longer. It must have been the last touch of the game. But before we get into the details, I just want to say that Slovakia, they were the better team throughout this entire game. It wasn't even a question. The only problem was they don't have the quality like England does. They don't have a Bellingham or a Kane or a Foden to come in and kind of get like equalize and be that difference maker like England did. And I'm honestly, England were 30 seconds, maybe less away from being completely embarrassed and knocked out of this tournament. And I mean, they always say like it's better to have an embarrassing moment and win a game versus, being embarrassed and losing. But honestly, I don't think any of the English fans are really taking this as like a positive. That's just the general sense that I'm getting.
Yeah. I know one of the first issues I had with this is the 6 minutes of extra time in the second half was ridiculous. There was not that much stoppage time. That might have been just a little favorable. I don't know how.
Some collusion, you think?
A little bit of collusion, a little bit of money or something like that to give them some extra time.
And they needed all that time, right? They needed all the time to get that goal.
Yeah, they scored in the 95th.
Crazy. It's unfortunate.
England only looked like the better team for 6 minutes, and that was it. And that's all they needed, unfortunately, to get 2 shots on goal. There are only 2 shots on goal that went in. And I was pretty upset because I'm obviously biased because I called this as the upset from last week's. I said Slovakia could upset England. And man, for most of the time, I was like, oh, I'm going to get it right. And
you were like 30 seconds away from being right.
When I saw that 6 minutes, I was like, oh, crap. Something's going to happen. And
sure right. Because they don't have the difference maker. And that was the difference. Like I was saying, Slovakia, better team. England had better quality players. And they came to play when they needed to. And per The Athletic, the first half ended with England having failed to record a shot on target in the first half of a knockout game at a major tournament for the first time since 1986 World Cup final. So their first shot on target was Jude Bellingham's the wonder goal in the dying minutes of that game. That was their first shot on target, and that just tells you how bad they were. But good teams, they find a way to win, and I guess we're calling England a good team right now. I'm not sure.
I don't know, but it is the reason we are drinking whiskey that I didn't deserve because they didn't deserve to go through. One of the reasons. We got another one coming up.
Life isn't fair, Yeah. Soccer, football teaches you a lot of lessons. That's one of them. That is a big one. This game pretty much summed up by a magical moment, but a frustrating game from England. But there's a reason why they were heavily favored coming into this tournament. And they showed it. They showed the willingness to win. We'll see if that carries over into the next round. The good thing is they're on the easier side of the bracket. So I think if they get past, who are they playing in the next round? If they get past, of course we're going off script here. But if they get past Switzerland in the next round, if they get past Switzerland in the next round, they'll be going into either a game against the Netherlands. More than likely, or Turkey. I don't want to be rude, or Turkey, but either way, my point is Turkey. I am being rude and I didn't even know it. But either way, the point is that their team is good enough to have that second of quality that can get them to where they need to go, and that's the final. So if they can do it, we'll find out. But for now, we have to say Zboam to Slovakia. Zboam.
I'm liking this.
We're learning some languages here. All right. Now let's move it right along. We have Spain versus Georgia, and there are no U.S.-Georgia jokes today. Okay? I'm not doing it. I'm not taking that bait because it was a 4-1 upset. Nah, I'm just kidding. Spain was obviously heavily favored. 4-1 winning for Spain against Georgia. And before I get into any of our notes here, let's just read off some of this. Actually, Vic, you want to do the honors? Just read off some of these stats for us here.
Sure. I'll go down the line. Shots, 35 shots for Spain, 4 shots for Georgia. Obviously not good. Georgia did not record a shot on target, while Spain recorded 13. Baker's dozen of them. Possession was 76 in favor of Spain as opposed to 24 for Georgia. I mean, just those 3 stats alone is automatically you're never going to win. Like, obviously, especially with the shot on target. But Just an absolute, just
dominant.
dominant performance.
There's no way that you can give up 76%, 35 shots, 13 on target, and win that game.
Yeah.
Man, but I will say this. Georgia were always going to find it hard to win. And if they were going to do it, they were going to do it on the counter like they've been doing this whole tournament. But to keep that up for 90 minutes plus against Spain, it was just going to be a tough task regardless. But the one thing I will say is that that crowd was electric. Georgia's fans, they traveled well. And when they forced that own goal early in the game, we were like, no way. Like, what is happening? 18th minute, they're already at 1-0 up. I don't think anybody really thought they were going to keep that up and they were going to win, but the crowd didn't care. Their fans didn't care. And that's what it's all about. It was amazing to watch. I think you just need to see Kvaradona, our boy, Havice Kvaratskhelia. You like how I say that? He had a shot. I mean, the best way to say is like in NBA, where like he shoots from downtown. He shot past the halfway mark. I mean, he was way past it on his end, and he just saw a little bit of opening on that goal, and the audacity, the balls, the swagger to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna shoot this. I wish we could show the highlights, but just go watch it. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Like, why would you even try that? Oh, because he's badass, and they're not scared of Spain. But yeah, you can't give up that much possession and win this game. But Spain, they weren't playing around. You could tell that they're here to win this tournament, and I don't think there's going to be a team that's going to stop them. We'll find out here in a second. But when you watch that team, there's just so much depth, quality all over. Fabian Ruiz, who's one of my players of the tournament so far, he ended up getting a goal as well, pinpoint pass from Lamine Yamal, who is just ridiculous. Like he looked like he was going to assist or score every time he got on the ball. And if he was in the box, it was just like this, something's going to happen. Just give the ball to him and he's going to make something happen. It's insane how good he is right now. And he's just, when you watch him, he's just got that special quality. Like, you don't see it in a lot of players, but you know whenever they have it, you know what I mean? He's world-class already. And, of course, Nico Williams is right there with him. And it's kind of, I'm jealous, as a American here sitting looking at a 16-year-old and a 21-year-old for Spain who are just tearing it up in the Euros already. Yeah, we were supposed to have that. Maybe it's the coach, though, for us. Switch and getting a little bit off topic, but maybe it's Berhalter. We don't know. But either way, Yamal looks good. Spain looks good. Fabian Ruiz, my player of the tournament for the time being. And after a great run by Georgia in this tournament, we say
good luck with this.
Nachvamdis to Georgia. I think that's correct.
That's pretty good.
And Spain are moving on. They look like they're going to be hoisting up the trophy soon. We'll find out. We shall see. Okay, now let's move on right along to France versus Belgium. France get the 1-0 win here. And we talked about this a bit in the preview. We said that on paper, this should be a banger. This one should be the game of the round. And it was not. We also said that. Neither of these teams looked like they were going to be themselves this tournament. And especially Belgium, especially with France's main attacking threat being hurt, the way that they've just been playing, it didn't look like it was going to be fun, and it really wasn't. I don't really have too much to say other than at this point, France has 3 goals in this tournament. They have 2 own goals and a penalty. How do you win a tournament with that? There's no way.
Yeah. I think both of these teams are lucky to be in this. And I think the only reason France is going on is because somebody had to. That's the other reason that I am drinking this still Austin. So, this is kind of hard to watch. Just knowing how France was slated to come into this tournament and see them taking on Belgium and the form they'd been in, you're just like, man, I don't know if anything's going to happen in this game. And sure enough, it didn't really happen. But yeah, no goals in open play for France this entire tournament so far, and they're going on to the quarterfinals. Explain that.
That's how it's working. Yeah. And this one, when you look at the stats, France had 19 shots to Belgium's 5. They both had 2 on target, but of course, France has got a goal by the own goal, or via own goal, which I'm wondering what they're up to now. What's the own goal stat in this tournament now? Like, it's got to be 7 or 8 at this point.
I think it's 8. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 8. We got a producer. He's going to put up the own goal count right
He'll
here.
Put up the stats. There you go.
It's that many.
Put him to work.
Yeah. What else do y'all want to see? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, just anything. He can do it all.
He'll do whatever you tell him to.
I will say, just not to go on too much of a tangent, but it feels like a lot of the teams that had a lot of expectations coming into the tournament, outside of Spain and Germany, but Germany are the hosts, so of course they're going to have a bunch of motivation and support behind them. But it feels like I have to do the research on this to really get the numbers, but that the amount of games that these players have to go through and in a season now is just kind of catching up to them, because it's not the stars aren't playing like they should be, and they have in the past. And I think it has to do with a lot of how the season stretched out. Because if you think about like Jude Bellingham, he was in the Champions League final. I mean, of course, all of Real Madrid, the rest of his teammates were there too. But and Dortmund, can't forget them. But either way, my point is, if they're playing like if they started last off season, which is probably July, August, something like that, and they should be having a break right now, but they're playing another tournament. Could you imagine like working a physical job like that for a year straight with like maybe 2 or 3 days off in a row at most? That's crazy. So I'm going to have to dig into it a bit. Don't want to go too much of a tangent here, but I think that there's something to be said for like the amount of rest that these guys aren't getting. And that's why it's leading to a lot of lackluster performances in this tournament. Even in the Copa America, there's a lot of teams that are a lot of players that aren't playing up to their potential right now. And I think that could be it, but that's for another day. Just wanted to get that off my chest, because when you see these players, or you just see the lineups for these teams, you think that it's going to be a banger, and it just hasn't been. And it's unfortunate, but either way, I have a French friend who called the Belgians the cousin of France. Not my words, that's her words. But they'll be disappointed because all the attacking players they have, Doku looked really good, twitchy, looked awesome, really fast, dangerous, but didn't register a goal or an assist at the tournament. Lukaku, at this point, there's no way that he's the best attacking option, the best striking option for the Belgians, or for Belgium. Like, there's no way. I mean, maybe he is, but if he's not getting the numbers, like, how can you continually throw him out there just saying that he's your best option? Because he hasn't produced anything. So
in his defense,
I don't know.
He's definitely getting the shots off. He's just not converting, not getting them. So he's at least in the area.
He's trying to score. He just can't.
Yeah, he just can't. No matter what.
Like, for whatever reason.
His body won't allow him. I don't know what it is.
Well, with that, we bid farewell to Belgium with an au revoir.
Au revoir.
Or maybe if you're in the north of Belgium, you will say "doei doei." I don't know. Yeah.
Doei doei.
I'll get better. Okay.
I like it.
I'm learning. Maybe a Dutch friend can help us out. Okay, let's move on to Portugal versus Slovenia. This one, it went to penalties. It was 0-0. And honestly, it felt like Slovenia should have won this game. Portugal had double the amount of shots that Slovenia had, with 20. They had 73% of possession. Ronaldo had 2 to 3 clear-cut chances on goal, and he had a penalty. And yet all of that, and Slovenia still had multiple chances to bury Portugal and put them away, and they just couldn't. It was crazy. I think the best way to sum it up, though, is by that Sesko goal. Right, when he came through on target, or he came through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He gets the ball on target, but he just doesn't have the confidence right now, and it sucks to see. But ultimately, this match was decided by great goalkeeping. Jan Oblak, Diogo Costa, they were amazing the entire match, and it went to penalties. And I don't think I've ever seen an ass whooping in penalties, but
So bad.
this was about the closest thing to an ass whooping on penalties.
That was
Not to say
one-sided.
that it was Jan Oblak's fault, but when you watch your attacking players go up to take those penalties and they give 3 blocked in a row, the confidence got to be shot. Like Jan Oblak's got to be like, okay, well, I can't do everything here. So yeah, it was unfortunate. Sesko, was unfortunate to see him just losing his confidence. It was like when we see Arda Güler, and we'll talk about him in a second, and you see kind of how he's blossomed at this tournament, and he's kind of become that man, that dude. Sesko, he kind of went the opposite way. It's almost like he couldn't do it in the biggest of stages. He couldn't do it in the limelight. And yeah, it just sucks. I mean, hopefully he's going to get his mind right going into this next season, but just didn't do it in this tournament. And honestly, Portugal need to step it up in this next round because, of course, they're going on to the quarterfinals, but they haven't looked decent in a couple games. So, if they're going into the next round playing a better team, if they don't play better, I feel like this could be their last game. And with that, what do we say? We're saying adios to Slovenia.
Close enough to adios.
Adios, yes, if you had an S in there.
Yeah.
But we do bid adios to Slovenia. Goodbye, our friends. Have a great summer. We'll see you in a couple weeks whenever the season starts. Again, these guys don't even get a break. It's so crazy. I'm going to have to do the research for that. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We have Netherlands versus Romania. This ended 3-0 for Netherlands. And I will man up and say I did call that this would be my upset if I had to put money on it. Glad I did not put money on it.
Could have had 2 lunches, man. Dang.
But in my defense, though, it's 3-0, but it didn't feel like it was an ass whooping. It didn't feel like Netherlands were going to be it didn't feel like they were up 3 goals in this game, mainly because when you look at the box score, like they scored in the 83rd minute and they scored 90 plus 3. So it was a 1-0 game for the most part. Now, looking at the stats, you wouldn't be able to tell that because 23 shots for the Netherlands to 5 for Romania, 6 on target for the Netherlands, 1 for Romania. But really, I hate to say it, but man, Gakpo has been ridiculous this tournament. He has caught fire in the Euros. Every freaking goal is a highlight. I will say, though, the flip side to his goal in this tournament, even though it was a great goal, the keeper, he's got to be saving that near post. That should have been saved, right?
Yeah, I think he was just. I mean, 9 times out of 10, they're going to go far post. Everybody's going to go far post. So
Yeah.
He might have just been waiting for that, and it just blew it past him. But like I said, probably in like one of our first episodes, Gakpo has just been slept on, and that's mainly because in Liverpool we've had great strikers for I don't even know how long. That Gakpo just kind of gets buried in there, and they put him at mid or something like that, and he doesn't get to shine. And he's getting to shine now at left wing. So hopefully, Slot will give him a couple more shots at
Arnie
left
Slot.
wing. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't switched my mind to next season yet. And so it's weird hearing that and like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll talk about Slot being the Liverpool coach and Klopp being the U.S. men's team
USMT. Yes.
We can make it happen. He
can
have President of the United States too. He can just do that as well.
So Arnie Slot is a big bald head coach, and that sounded way more harsh than I meant it to sound. But I just meant like he's a big guy, has a bald head, and I saw a tweet where it said Arnie Slot walking into Liverpool with his army of clones, and it was like all 4 of his coaches walking up the steps at the same time, and they all were like in similar suits and had bald heads and pink head. Like
yeah,
it's Daniel, he'll play it for you guys, or he'll have a link to it or something.
He'll show a picture right here.
Yeah, there you go.
See, it's right here.
It's freaking hilarious, though. Got me good. But back to this game. Romania started the match with a swagger, and it looked like kind of like an attitude that they weren't going to be bullied. And really up until that Gakpo goal, which, again, should have been saved, they were great. And they were playing this game like they were there not because they were there by luck, but because they were there to win. And after that goal, it just all changed. It felt like after that goal, the Netherlands were kind of like, all right, we gave you a chance. You couldn't do anything. Now we're going to take control of it. And they just had shot after shot. They took possession. They started threatening every single time. But again, the scoreline is misleading because for the most part, it was a 1-0 game. And it wasn't a comfortable match for the Netherlands, but just like Slovenia did with Portugal, Romania gave up too much possession. They gave up 66% of possession. And, when you have 23 shots to 5, there's more than likely, unless you're really clinical with it, you're not going to win that game. And, it wasn't going to happen unless their defense was going to be ridiculous. And I will say, Dragusin, the Tottenham boy, hopefully he gets more time this season. He was awesome. Like if you're a defensive player, or if you like watching defensive players, I know Vic, I know my boy does. That was a great game to watch individually. I don't want to say the whole defense because I did have my eyes for a single man on that team, if you know what I mean. But yeah, he was great to watch. And really, that's all I have to say about that. Gakpo, hopefully he keeps his form, not against Spurs this season, but, just in general for Liverpool. And I guess if there's nothing else, we need to say Pecurand to our friends, our Romanian brothers. Pecurand.
Adios.
Romania. That's not the right country. I think it's not any of these countries. But before we move on, I'll say Shoegate. Shoegate is a big thing right now. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, during Netherlands' third goal, the Romanian goalie has Malin. He's barreling down towards him. And the whole time he's busy trying to kick and like move a shoe that someone had thrown onto the pitch. So, I'm not saying that if that shoe wasn't there that he would have blocked it. But if you watch the highlight, it's very apparent that he's not paying attention to what's going on. He's trying to get this damn shoe out of the way. And like, where did that shoe come from? Who threw it on the pitch? Well, we'll never know. It's a big dilemma. It's a big debate right now. It's hot in the streets. But yeah, we're calling it Shoegate here on No Business Soccer Podcast. And yeah, if that shoe wasn't there, Romania would have won, and I would have had my upset right. So
yeah, okay,
yeah, okay. All right, moving on though, we have Austria versus Turkey, which I will say this is about the only thing that we did get right in the preview. Is we said going in that this, of course, it's not the main matchup on the schedule, but this was the people's matchup. This was the people's main event, and damn, it delivered. It had freaking everything. Both teams, they came out, I think it was like within the first 4 minutes or so, maybe a little longer. There was, in the first minute, Turkey scored, so there was already one goal. But It really felt like there was going to be multiple. It felt like it could have been 4 or 5 goals for either team in that first 4 or 5 minutes because it was all out. It was like if you're watching UFC, like you watch flyweights, of course Victor knows, he's a huge UFC fan, but they ring the bell and the flyweights just go at it, all offense, no defense, all gas, no breaks. And that's what it felt like. Did you see the same thing?
Yeah, I was even talking to you guys. I was like, man, scoring the first minute. And like before I could even send that text, they're already crossing on the other side. There was a shot on goal and a save. And man, it was just awesome. They just came out swinging and going at it. And it was everything we thought it was going to be. And it was a fun game, fun match.
Yeah. And it ends with Turkey winning 2-1 against Austria. But what I will say is that both the goals came from Ardagula crosses, and they were perfect. I mean, of course, I'll say his name, Demiral, yeah, however you want to say it. He got both the goals, so it's not like he didn't. It's not like Ardagula was the only one, but if you watch the service, the crosses he's putting into the box, they're perfect. The goal is always to get it past the first defender and get it close enough to where the keeper's kind of like, do I go for it? Do I stay back? Like, just get him into this weird headspace. And both of them were perfect. Both of them, well, I don't want to say both of his crosses. He had multiple, but 2 of them were perfect and 2 of them were goals. And you just kind of felt like this is what we were hoping Sesko would be. Arda, he gets his goal, right? The goal of the tournament so far for me anyway. And now he's sitting there leading his team to victory going into the quarterfinals. And really cool to watch. But a couple of things to talk about here. The last 30 minutes of this game, it was just chaos. It was pouring freaking rain, like pouring rain. Austria got a goal back in the 65th minute. They started dominating the possession. They started living in that Turkish box, and you just kind of felt like, okay, well, like this is going to go 2-2, and we're going to go to extra time. Chance after chance came through, and then with virtually one of the last touches of the game, like we've seen so many times in this tournament, Baumgartner gets a header. He heads it to the ground, just like you're supposed to, head it directly to the ground, let that thing bounce up and cause all kind of chaos for whatever's going to happen next. He does that, and it's like freaking God mode. The keeper for Turkey reads it correctly, is able to get a last second deflection, and they freaking win. It's a save of a lifetime. Oh man, this game was for sure the game of the tournament, or at least top 2 games in this tournament. And that save kind of put a bow on everything. He was right there for it. Yeah, it was crazy to watch.
Yeah, and then save, I think I saw a stat that it had 96% chance to go in, and he still saved it. You can see the screenshot that Daniel put right here, but you see the screenshot that just him diving and just reaching for it and going off. It's amazing. Awesome save.
It was so cool. What a great game. Like this, it kind of put a bow on the whole round of 16. It was so awesome to see a game like that, especially after watching England disappoint, watching Portugal and France and Belgium disappoint. Like this one was really cool to say. And we kind of called it. We said this was the people's main event, and it really did come out to be that. But with that, we do have to say Auf Wiedersehen to Austria. Auf Wiedersehen. I think that's
I've always
different.
heard it pronounced just Auf Wiedersehen, but
that's in German. This is Austrian German.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Auf Wiedersehen. Sean? I'm sure people will correct us. Either way, we're trying here. Okay. And the last thing I'll say about Turkey, though, that yes, they're playing better. And yes, they're moving on and they're hitting their top form right now. But they should be concerned because in this game, they had 6 shots to Austria's 21 and gave up 5 on target. So if they're playing a better team that's a little bit more clinical, I think that could spell disaster for them, but we'll see. Maybe their luck's catching on, and who knows? They're getting Çalhanoğlu back for this next round. He was suspended for this, so their captain, talisman, maybe he changes things up for them. But either way, good on Turkey. I'm excited to see them in the next round. Okay.
Speaking of next round.
Yeah, there you go. Professional segue.
You did great.
With that said, let's go over the quarterfinal preview. Talk about the next 4 games that are coming up starting on Friday, I believe. We're going to start with Spain versus Germany.
Yep, Spain and Germany. Again, no favorite in this one. According to the money line, we have a plus 175 for Germany, plus 160 for Spain. And that's looking like a close matchup. It's kind of weird because at the round of 16, we had a bunch of underperforming teams. We had some really bright, shining teams, and they seem to match up pretty well in this quarterfinal.
Yeah, it sucks that we're getting it now. Like, I would want to see this in a semifinal. You know what I mean? But, what can we do? What can we say? This the way that it fell. I was listening to I can't remember what podcast it was. I think it was The Athletics or something like that. But they were saying that when Germany came back against whoever it was in their last group game with that last second header from Füllkrug, they were like cheering, so happy that they didn't get second. But if they would have got second, they would have been in the weaker side. And so they were kind of like cheering on getting the harder draw. You got to win regardless, or go for it either way. But it just sucks that we're getting this game now. I mean, we're going to watch it, we're going to have fun, but I feel like both of these teams, it's like losing one of them sucks. And again, the odds put Spain slightly favorite, like you just said, but I don't know. You go first. How are you saying that this game is going to end?
This one's going to be hard. I think Germany might just squeak it out, and if it's not 1-0, maybe 2-1. But I don't think they'll win by more than one goal on this one, and I'm just giving them home field advantage. That's basically the only reason why.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of how I'm feeling too. I think I want to see Spain continue on. That's why it sucks that they're playing right now. But I just feel like Germany, they just have the crowd behind them. It's been a great tournament. They've played well. But everything I'm saying, Spain has too. So yeah, it sucks.
That's true.
I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw at the end of regular time, and then Germany goes on in pens. That if that happens that way, that'll be insane. End of your seat type of stuff. But I feel like that's more fitting of an ending than one of these teams losing outright.
Okay. And we will find that out today. I believe this podcast is releasing on July 5th at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So, or I don't know if it's Standard Time. I don't get the whole standard of daylight thing. So, Central. We'll just say Central.
Central time. Yeah. Texas time, if you will. All right. Well, we have a couple more games to go over. Let's move on down to France versus Portugal.
France and Portugal will be playing July 5th as well at 2 p.m. So right after the Germany and Spain game. The money line on this one does have France as a slight favorite, but still not for your money. They are a plus 130 on the money line, and Portugal is a plus 230 on the money line. So should be pretty interesting. Another kind of close matchup for me, underperforming teams. And we'll see.
Yeah, for everyone, I think that's fair to say. I feel like they should almost flip these games. Like I'd rather end with Germany, Spain than start with them, because I don't feel like this one. I don't know. Maybe both teams start to pick it up, but on paper you have freaking Mbappe versus Ronaldo and all the players around them, but neither team's played that way. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard. I should be super, super stoked for this game, but I'm just not, because I don't think that they're going to all just change how they're playing. They're going to all of a sudden be great and start scoring goals and playing attacking football. I just don't see it happening. With that said,
who do you think is going to win?
Yeah, exactly. I think the difference maker is Mbappe. I think I can't go against him in this type of format. And if there's any bit of magic in there, like Jude Bellingham for England, I'm going to go with Mbappe over Ronaldo right now. So, yeah, I'm going to say a 1-0 France win.
Okay. I think you're wrong.
You?
I think
okay.
I don't think France still hasn't scored their own goal on like just a regular playing time. So I think that's just going to keep going. And I got Portugal winning this one. And I'll say 2-0. I say 2-0.
Are we going? What? Okay.
Yeah.
We have to double or nothing our bet or lunch bet.
I want to get my lunch first before I bet you again. But we'll see.
All right, fine. Hey, that's fair. Fair enough. But
we'll see.
Yeah, agree to disagree, and we'll move on for now. But yeah, I thank you for saying something so audacious, because now I'm actually excited to watch it because I want you to be wrong. So in my mind, it'll be like, okay, I would have won a lunch, even if we don't end up making that bet. But either way, yeah, hopefully this one ends up being something that's awesome to see. We'll find out on Friday at 2. Okay. Let's move it right on along to England versus Switzerland.
Yeah, and England and Switzerland for the odds in the sports books. England is just a slight favorite at a plus 110. Still not for your money a favorite, but at a plus 115, sorry. And Switzerland is coming in at a plus 270 to win this game. So we'll see how that plays out. Another kind of England is underperforming, and I think Switzerland is playing really, really well. So they are kind of matched up pretty evenly as well for this one.
Yeah, I would say that typically this one wouldn't be hard to pick England typically in any other tournament. But I've been a Switzerland hater since the tournament started, so I can't act like I'm all over them now. But they've almost gained my respect, and I can't. It's not just me. Even all the articles I've been reading, the podcasts I've been listening to, things I've been hearing, nobody expected Switzerland to be this far. I mean, I think their track record said they would be getting out of the group, just like we said in the group breakdowns. The track record said they'd be getting out, but all of the recent history showed that they would be underperforming, that this would be the tournament that this wouldn't happen for them. And yet they're defying the odds. They're looking great doing it. And England, on the other hand, are the complete opposite. They're getting by, but they don't look good. There's no way to sugarcoat it. They don't look like a team. Like, for instance, if Switzerland would have been the team in that Slovakia game that they played last round, there's no way England's winning that.
Yeah.
Switzerland would have came away with that win. So I want England to win this. I don't think that they. I don't know. I went first last time. You got to go first this time.
All right, I got you. This one's easy for me. Switzerland. I think Switzerland's going to win, and I think it'll be another shutout unless England can find another 6 minutes. Will they play very well? I think it's going to be another 2-0, 2-0, whatever, 2-0 win for Switzerland.
Okay. Damn. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if I can go against England this early. I just felt like they were going to be getting to the final.
It's the quarterfinals. What do you mean early? They went through group stage
because I thought they were going to be in the final from the get-go. I thought this would be the year.
I did too.
So I'm going to go with this. I think the same thing as the France-Portugal game. I'm going to go 1-0 England win. I don't feel good about that though. I don't.
Now I kind of want to bet lunch because they won me my last lunch.
No, I was about to say no. We're not putting that. I'll bet you on the other game. I'm not betting this one. I don't like Switzerland right now. I feel like
that's my upside pick. So
if Switzerland win again and I bet against them again, I can't go against them in the next round. Like there's no way. So anyway, wow, Switzerland. If they win the whole thing, good on them. I'm not a hater. I just didn't see it coming. Anyway, last game to get through in the quarterfinals, we have the Netherlands versus Turkey.
There you
go. Said it right. Almost said it.
You said it right. Nice. This is the only kind of lopsided one we have. Netherlands is a -160 favorite on this one. And Turkey is a +425 underdog to win this one. So this one seems to be more cut and dry, but you never know with Turkey. They've been high flying this whole tournament. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about where we are right now with the quarterfinals is that even though you're looking at, if you just looked at the tournament as a whole and you just saw who got through to the quarterfinals, you'd say, yeah, that makes sense. Germany, Spain, France, Portugal, England, Netherlands, right? But some of those teams that we talked about already, they're underperforming big time. And Switzerland, obviously surprising, but Turkey are that other team. And so I'm glad that Switzerland and Turkey aren't playing each other kind of like we're losing Spain or Germany this next round.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're kind of playing two other teams that are in their own right disappointing. Because it could, imagine if it's a freaking Switzerland-Turkey semifinal. Like, that's crazy. So, but anyway, back to this game. The Netherlands, going into this past round in the round of 16, they weren't playing well. They had all the attacking weapons at their disposal. They have a lot of different players, but the only one who was really making that difference for them in the group stage was Gakpo. And I said in the round of 16 preview that if they were going to get through, then he was going to be the one to do the damage, and he got an assist and a goal. And how can I doubt him at this point? And even though Turkey are here and they're looking better and they're playing better, they're getting Çalhanoğlu back, like we were saying. They gave up way too many chances to who they play in the last round. Golly. To Austria. They give up way too many chances to Austria. And so I just don't feel like if they gave those same chances to the Netherlands, I don't think Depay is missing that. I don't think Gakpo is missing that, right? I think that if they're going to be that same team that came into the round of 16, that they might lose this 2-1, 3-1, same type of thing that Netherlands did in the last round. So yeah, if I'll go first here, I'll say that I'll go 3-1 Netherlands.
I respect that. I'm going to go with Netherlands as well. I'm still going to go for my field general, Virgil van Dijk. And, I like 3-1. I'm just going to steal that. I think it'll be 3-1 too.
All right. fair enough. Yeah, it sucks for Turkey because they're playing so well, but I think they're for all of the talent they're showing on offense, they're not showing the same kind of talent on defense. And so when you get this far into the tournament, you got to have both. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, they do not. But that is it for us here at the No Business Soccer Podcast. We talked about the round of 16 and what happened there. We previewed the quarterfinals, and like we started with, it's getting to a point where I'm pretty sad. We're getting, all the anticipation, everything about this tournament. It's almost over, but, that's why we play the games, to see how it all shakes out. So with that, Vic, take us home, bud.
Again, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment down below so we can talk to you guys. Where do you think that Adam should take me for lunch? We'll all be taking suggestions. Go ahead and drop whatever you think. And money is no option. He's getting like $100,000 worth of house renovations right now, somewhere around there. He doesn't know how much. He just doesn't keep track of it. So let me know where you want him to take me to lunch. And how do you think the next round is going to play out? Do you think that maybe Switzerland has more than what we say, or are they going to do even better? Do you think Turkey is going to pull it off? Let us know what you think, and we'll be happy to talk to you guys. And until next time, y'all have a good one. I hope y'all had a safe 4th of July, and we will talk to y'all on the next one. Appreciate it.
Later.